What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, and we're going to listen to a project by Vince Clarke. I did want to start. Friend of the channel, Han Solo, informed me that Vince's wife had passed away, so RIP to her, condolences to Vince, and it just seemed like a good time to listen to some of his music. I was going to listen to some VCMG. I didn't see, I've gone through maybe like half of the album that he did with Martin Gore in, is it 2011 or 2012? I'm going to say 2012. Which is essentially a techno record, sort of like minimal dance floor, techno record. But yeah, this is from a couple years before. It's '09, and it's called Deeptronica, which is both the name of the artist, as it's listed on Discogs anyway, as well as the album. The entire album is composed by Vince Clarke. So yeah, I don't know for sure, but my expectation is that this would be electronica, like synth-heavy electronica, maybe breakbeat style of music, maybe, four to the floor, techno in the vein of the White Noise record, I guess we can call it, with Martin. But yeah, as I said, my expectation would be some form of electronica, maybe breakbeat. Either way, as I said, RIP to Vince's wife, condolences to him. Let's hear it. The first track is Ahead of the Curve. I won't spend too much time thinking about the title, given that there probably won't be lyrics per se, maybe a sample. But yeah, it's the idea of being on the cutting edge. You're not doing things which are currently well-liked and popular. You're doing things which are going to be well-liked and popular for future generations, for people who, are maybe they're born, maybe they're young now, maybe they're not even born yet, but the idea is that you're forging territories which other people will inhabit later, and thus you're less capitalizing on what people are doing now and more trailblazing like new forms. So with that in mind, let's hear it. This is Vince Clarke under the name Deeptronica, and the first tune on the album of the same name from '09 is Ahead of the Curve. Number one, that's brilliant. Number two, that absolutely will be in an upcoming ambient excursion, which I know because of the holidays, it's been like a month or two since the last one, and they've slowed down a little bit just because I've exhausted all the ambient excursions I can post on YouTube, meaning there's another few dozen that I tried at some point to post and either like, you know, had to remove so many tunes that it wouldn't really be practical. Like some of them it was like, you know, 8 tracks and 5 of them will be blocked. So if I took all those out, sort of sound editing it and whatever, it would be like a 21-minute mix or something. It's not really like worth it. So all the ones that I've already recorded over the years, and especially from the period where I was running the radio show, are already up. I've done a few new ones in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. But yeah, ultimately, the next time I come back to do an ambient excursion, that track at the very least will be there, and presumably more from this album. It's funny though, I was thinking like, I really turned my head and started to pay attention to Sybient and, you know, like down-tempo, electronic ambient in like 08, 09, 2010 is when I started making the mixes of that style. So this came out like right when I was discovering music, essentially, you know, in this territory. And I would have been fascinated because I knew who Vince Clarke was. Now, I didn't know his actual real name. Shout out to Han Solo, who like, he said something about Mr. Martin, and I was like, I thought he was talking about Martin Gore, and I was like, oh, Mr. Martin, and he was like, no, well, that's actually Vince's real surname. I was like, wait, what? But yeah, Vincent John Martin, I believe. But again, I knew that Vince Clarke was in early Depeche Mode. I knew he was in Erasure and Yaz, as we would have called them, or Yazoo, as they were called across the pond. But yeah, ultimately, I knew who he was, so I would have been like, oh, damn, like, wait, so the guy that I know from making, like, great 80s synth pop, like, he's making stuff that's just like the Sybient that I'm getting into from, like, you know, labels like Ultimate, Cosmic Leaf, and so on. So yeah, I would have been fascinated. I still, 15 years later, just about, am just as fascinated, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from this album, and again, using some of these tracks, surely, in subsequent ambient excursions. So once again, shout out to Han Solo for sharing this and, you know, for providing that unfortunate update. R.I.P. to Vince's wife, and again, condolences to him. Do let me know what you think of this. Luca, you are like, I mean, this is crazy. She's like perfectly wedged herself, and she's, I think, literally sleeping. So we'll see if we can just sort of finagle. I think we're good. Okay, yeah, you're good. In any case, let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.